Are you serious? Oh my goodness. This is why I can't be a YouTuber. Hi guys, my name is Kevin, and if you've been a long time subscriber of mine, you probably aren't used to what I just said because there is an intro. But that's because this isn't going to be my typical YouTube video. This is gonna be very different and difficult to make because lately I haven't been feeling myself, I guess. I don't even know what that means. And I know why, but I just don't address it to a lot of people, and I sometimes I feel like I'm very secretive of things, like I hide things, and I just don't want to do that anymore. Basically, this whole video is because I've been struggling pretty much my whole life with having friendships, keeping friendships, knowing what to do when you're in a friendship. Like, I literally don't understand it. In elementary school, I didn't have friends. I mean, I had, I guess, acquaintances, which you could probably say that's kind of rude, but you know, when you think of a friend, you think of someone you hang out with outside of school, someone you talk to outside of school, and I didn't have that. And in middle school, 6th grade was one of the darkest times of my life, I guess, because I didn't have any friends. And I made good friends in 8th grade, and then in high school I made so many more friends, and I feel like I was just so overwhelmed at that point that I didn't know how to act on it. And so I tried to be a good friend, but at the same time I wasn't being treated like a good friend. But was I even treating my friends like good friends? I don't think so. And basically in this video I want to uncover this whole thing of how my struggles with friendship and dealing with fake friends and all of these things, because if I don't, I'm just gonna keep being sad for no reason, and I'm gonna keep being unauthentic to my friends, and I'm gonna keep letting bad friends into my life, and I just don't want that. I want people to see this and realize everything, really. I want to be more open to my friends. Thinking about that and thinking about what's going to be talked about is really scary, because I feel like if I say some of the things I want to, I can lose my friends, and that's really dark, and no one ever wants that. But I realize that I have to be 100% in this video, and I have to open up a lot, even if that means losing friends, because I want to be real to them. Basically, the first part of this video is supposed to be me introducing all of this, talking about this, and the second part is supposed to be me and my best friend talking about all of the whole thing, like something that I've been needing, something that I've been wanting to just talk about, and on my channel. And I think that's pretty cool, and I'm really excited, and I hope you're excited, because this is gonna be one huge roller coaster. I've never experienced something like this, but I'm ready to be more open. Okay, so where do I start?
I don't know, I thought you had a plan.
I do, but I don't think you know how serious this is, or because I haven't really told you like exactly what's gonna happen. I want you to be 100% real with me. If I say something that's not true, or if you think of something that I've done or something, you can just say it, because I want to be completely open with this whole thing, which is my struggles with friendship my whole life. I think I've told you, growing up I didn't have a lot of friends. My first ever friend was in 7th grade, and I think because of that I never really got the chance to understand how a friendship works. In middle school, when you finish the school year, or like you graduate and go on to high school, I had a lot of friends, but after that whole shift I lost a lot of them, and I couldn't comprehend that, of people just moving on like that, and it really hurt me. But I had to understand that when something like that happens, it's just normal for people to just stop talking because of distance.
We were really friends. I mean, we knew each other. I was really mean to you in elementary school. So sorry. It's kind of cool that we're friends now after that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm grateful. But I didn't really know you before 7th grade. Even then, like, I kind of like what we had because it wasn't, it was friendship, but it was simple too. Like, we were just companions and, like, we kind of kept each other, like, we were always laughing and stuff. So I think that was nice, even though we weren't, like, friends, like how we are now. I think it was nice, but, you know, I don't know how your friendship was before that. So that's the only point that I knew you from was 8th grade. Yeah. And then now.
Okay, so in 8th grade, like, my personality was definitely different from how I am now, even from 9th grade, because that's when I had like a huge group of friends, and I was really happy because of it. I was such a positive person, a confident person, and I didn't really care about anything like other people's opinions. I can't really say the same after that because ever since then, like, my whole personality started shifting, and it's sad to realize the same reason why I didn't like things in people I did. I didn't like when people tried to change themselves because of something that was wrong with them. And I feel like in 9th grade, going to a school that was more prestigious, I guess, and seeing how people were more different and acted different and made themselves stand to a higher place made me want to do that as well and be more calm and collective, because it just wasn't normal to be yourself, I guess, if that makes sense. And in 9th grade, it got so much worse because my confidence and my morals just felt like they just got destroyed, because that was the point in my life where friendships started being very negative. I didn't know who to trust. My own friends were betraying me and talking about me behind my back. It was a point in my life where I didn't feel like I had friends. I knew I had people I talked to, I guess, sort of as acquaintances, but I really felt alone, and that's probably one of the reasons why I moved schools. And I'm not even trying to say that I was a good person all the time. I definitely got in the mix of being that negative friend. I was being treated negatively by my friends. I can't really blame others for how I became, because it really is my fault for doing so. That was a year where I really did change and I started being more not myself. And I feel like you also got the chance to realize that as well. You knew me in 8th grade a lot, and then I went to the school we used to go now in 10th grade. So do you see any like huge difference of how I was in 8th grade and how I was in 10th grade?
I just feel like in 8th grade you were just so much more yourself, and it included not only like how I saw you every day, and that's still how I know you. Like, you didn't really change, but you just hid more of it. Yeah. If that makes sense. So like in 8th grade you were really just you. I know we were always like mean to you, like, you know, like funny mean. I really enjoyed your friendship. But you know, then when you came back, I guess, because we still talked in 8th grade, but honestly I don't really remember. It's kind of a blur. But I know we did talk, and you were yourself, but when you finally moved, you were more shy than like you used to be. Definitely. You were, it's not that you were, like you said, secretive, it was just, it's like you were scared to show all of you like you used to. And I didn't really say anything. I was like, oh, that's okay. Everyone's a little shy. But then, like, I was becoming more, like, open. And then you were becoming the opposite. So I really didn't like that.
So after that 9th grade, it was a dark time because I realized how much I changed and how much I became more different and dark. I would say in 8th grade, 7th grade, I was that funny person, that silly guy who just made jokes and didn't care about anything else. And it's so dark to see yourself completely change into someone who was more quiet, laid back, negative. I would say in our friend group, I'm the person everyone seems to think, oh, he's the negative guy, he's the pessimistic guy, he's quiet and stuff.
I don't think pessimistic. At least in my in my opinion.
What do you mean?
I don't know, I feel like you respect yourself.
I do, but beforehand when I was more like myself, and then going to ninth grade, seeing how everyone was more calm and collective and a little more like negative because it's now relatable. I turned into that because I guess it was normal and more safe to be, I guess.
See, the thing about the school, like how you went and you said that people were changing, that's why I was scared that you were gonna kind of turn into that, like the stereotypical student that goes there because it's true. Like
Yeah.
when students go there because it's more prestigious, they sort of put themselves on a pedestal just for going there. Actually, I'm really glad that you moved. I was scared of that happening, to be honest.
Moving on to, I guess, 10th grade, the whole reason why I changed schools is because one, I just didn't feel like I belonged in the school I did go my freshman year. When I was talking to you, you asked me if I wanted to join tennis, and I did, and I tried it. And then I met all these other good friends that made me feel really happy. And seeing that, I felt like I was kind of living how I used to be. I felt more myself with them because the people there didn't care what others had to say. They were just themselves, and I liked that. And which is why I moved to the school we graduated from. 10th grade was honestly the worst year of my life. I can say that for sure. At the beginning, I had really strong friendships. I made even more starting the school year. I would say midway to our year, like all of my friendships just started falling apart. People started becoming more distant. People were being fake. People were talking about others behind their back. It was a point where I literally didn't think I had any friends at all. And like even with you, I just felt like I lost all of my friends. Some weren't like really anyone's fault because of distance, I guess.
Oh, you mean physical or like?
Like we just fell apart. I mean, I honestly didn't even know how I had friends.
Okay, since I'm being real, it was harder to, not for me at least, or it's just that, you know, I had another, I'm gonna kind of explain myself. So I had another person I had to focus on because they were like really consuming my energy and time. I really wish I spent that time with you. It would have been so much better, and I always think about that, to be honest. I think you were just, because you were more shy, it was harder for you to kind of include yourself.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, okay, that's just how he is, you know what I mean? Instead of trying to get something out of you, because they didn't know what you, like, the real you was in there. They just had to kind of dig through. But I knew, you know, but I was stupid.
And then there were other people who were just being fake to me. Like, you know, there were just people who were just pushing me away. Some people had their own problems, and that's why they were pushing me and others away from them. And there were just other people who just felt like they just wanted to make others feel bad about themselves. And I'm not even trying to say like I was such a good person or a good friend, because honestly I wasn't. I fell into that negativity, and I'm not going to lie. I probably, I know I did talk about other people, not necessarily behind their back. Like I wasn't completely just talking smack about other people. There was definitely a lot of drama, and like you being my best friend, and like I honestly don't even think I could have done this video with someone else, because no one really knows me the way you do, because you know the 8th grade me and you know the now me.
Since 8th grade, like that was really like your prime.
Yeah.
And it's not even that your prime, like as in like peak. It's just like you just really hit yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's why like that year for you was really lonely, because I mean people were like I said, like people were like, oh, that's just how he is. Like no, he's not like that. You really aren't, you know, shy, secluded.
You being my best friend, it's like you're my second conscious. So I feel like I have to tell you everything I know. And I feel like sometimes when people would trust me and tell me things, like I would tell you. I'm not trying to say that I was right for that, because I did feel like I could tell you anything, and like you really wouldn't say anything, and you wouldn't judge other people because of it. Like, I just feel like I could just talk to you with no boundaries. I would talk about other people, and I would be negative on other people. That may be because people were being negative to me, but that doesn't mean it was okay to do. And I really feel bad because of it, and I want to, I guess, apologize to everyone I did do that to.
Wait, do they know?
No.
Oh, because you said it wasn't smack.
It wasn't. It's not like I hated that person. The people we talked about, I guess, were genuinely my friends. But I just felt like I had to tell you, like, I could tell you anything. If, like, something was wrong and something was just bugging me, I could just tell you.
I don't know, because with some of those people that you did tell me that I remember, I mean, not all of them treat you right. So I wanted to give you that reassurance that, like, it's not you, it's them.
But at the same time, I just feel bad because I shouldn't have stood at their level, you know?
Oh.
Because 8th grade me would have never done something like that. I don't like being negative to other people. I don't like talking about other people in such a spiteful way. And I think that's one of the most disappointing things I've put myself through. Like, how can you trust someone who does that?
I don't think about it a lot, but now that you're talking about it, I guess it's true.
Is there like anything that you remember of me being a fake person to others?
I don't think, like, maybe there were little things, but like they were so insignificant that I'm like, because I think of stuff that like I told you, like when I was investing my time and energy in someone else instead of like our friendship. Because honestly, like even that year, I didn't have any friends, so I feel like we should have been there for each other, and I think that was a mistake on my part. But you know, we're making up for it now.
True.
So that's good.
I think I told you, but something that was hard on me, I guess, is that all of my friendships were, I guess, falling apart, and I felt really alone at the time. Like, I really had no friends, and how do I say that?
Sorry,
it was really hard and disappointing at the fact that I was going through a lot, and you knew, and like you were my best friend, but it felt like I really couldn't go and talk to you anymore. You were invested in someone else, and like not, and like we're not being spiteful towards that person.
No, like
all.
it's all. I really hope the best for them, and it's just how I was feeling.
I obviously wasn't jealous at all, but I was just disappointed at the fact that you never made time for me.
Yeah, I really didn't.
And like,
sorry, I didn't.
And in a time that I was at my lowest, you know.
That's honestly, I do think about that. I really regret it, honestly, because it really took away I guess the bond that we had. Like I didn't really realize until after it ended, like my relationship with that person. When it ended, I really realized like you were the only one close to me. You know, it's like I'm sorry. So I think the same, because I mean, but that's the thing too. Like I feel sad that you didn't reach out to me, but at the same time, how could you?
Yeah.
When I didn't either. You know what I mean? Like it should have been reciprocated, and it wasn't. Even me, like I should have made the effort, and I didn't when I should have.
You say I respected myself, but at the same time, I let those people still be in my life and still disrespect me.
And I feel like you did that to kind of make up for when you were, I guess, fake and when you weren't your true self. Because when you tried it, you did it with the wrong people.
And I think the worst part of like all of this is that it sucks to try your best to be such a good friend to people, and you just end up being used because of it. You end up being taken advantage of it. Your kindness of, I guess, trying to be a good friend, and yet being pushed away, being talked about behind your back. But I think what's worse is when you put so much effort into a friendship, but you just don't get that same level of effort back. I think that's the worst part of it. And which is why I just don't understand how a friendship works. Like, still, even, I still have, I guess, problems with friends because just the communication and level of, like, how are you supposed to be treated? How do you treat a friend? How, how do you know when you're respected and how you're supposed to be respected?
Thankfully, and I don't know, maybe I'm jinxing it, I never really had to deal with that. I mean, maybe once, but I've never necessarily been fake to people. I mean, I have, but then after I cut off like our like relationship like with that friend, like I wouldn't say like I wouldn't say I hate them because there's just some people you can't vibe with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, there's some people that like you hang out with them but then you're like you wouldn't want to go out like I don't know, have a cup of coffee or something. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't want to go to the movies with them, you know what I mean? Like but that's the closest I've ever had to like bad friendships, I guess. But I think the reason why is because I was very selective with who I opened up to. It's just, I don't know, I just feel like you can tell, like, to who you can open up to or not. And to me, if I can really vibe with someone, then I do it too. And then also if I, like, figure out their morals and stuff like that. And I just feel like some people just, like, wear that on their sleeve, and I feel like that's why I've had success, I guess, in friendships. I'm really happy with, like, the people I have now as friends. Because I just don't hang out with people I don't like. I just feel like, you know, even though you've had such a problem with it, and it's not always that easy, it feels fake, but, like, it's really been that easy, not easy for me. That just sounds bad. Like, oh, it's been easy for me. I don't know why you're having a problem. You know, I don't want it to sound like that.
Well, right now I'm in a position where I do have a lot of good friends. And I like my friends, even though there were things in the past that they might have done. Right now, it's sort of just good at the moment. And thinking back then, there was points in my life where I just really wanted to cut everyone off. Like, I just didn't want to have friends. Like, I just didn't care anymore because it was just so mentally exhausting and hard to just pretend, I guess, you're okay when you're not in a friendship. At those moments where I did want to just drop friends or cut people out of my life, I feel like it was harder for me because my friends are all connected with each other. So let's say I wanted to cut someone off. Oh, you're fake. Why aren't you talking to this person anymore?
Yeah, then they'll do the same thing. Wait, was that a fear?
Yeah.
Or is that what happened?
It was like, if I end this friendship that's so toxic to me, no one's gonna care. Everyone's not gonna just say, oh, like, what did this person do? They're just gonna say, why would you do that? Like, why are you being such a messy person when you're not trying to be a messy person? And I get it that forgiveness is everything and you shouldn't hold grudges, but honestly, how can you go on when this person is being so toxic to you and you just can't anymore?
Yeah, because I mean, it's not only like I told you, like you're. I still think you're pretty respectful to yourself. I don't think it's being messy. Like for someone to say that, it's like okay, like I can't respect myself, or like friends are supposed to respect you.
Literally, I guess something that's really hard about it right now is enjoying your friendship with the people you are with right now, but at the same time having points where the person just lashes out. And people have bad days all the time. Sometimes people just say rude things about me. And some people do this, but they don't even know me like that, you know?
Yeah.
There are people who are acquaintances and they just do things and it just triggers me so much. And I get it that this might sound like I'm being really sensitive, but it's gone. This whole thing, like literally everything I've talked about throughout this whole video, it's like I've just been holding it on so long that it happens, you know? Like, I don't think I'm being sensitive. I just feel like I'm tired of it, you know? And, like, I really enjoy my friendships. At the same time, I do still feel like there's things that happen that just trigger me a lot. I obviously don't want to cut them off because it's not a big of a deal right now, but it still like affects it, I guess, because which is why I'm talking about it. I feel like one of the biggest problems in, I guess, my friendships with people is that it's kind of hard to know where the boundaries are, like how to communicate. Because I feel like a bunch of our friends just don't, I guess, communicate well in a sense of like emotions. Like they try to block themselves out, and that's something I would do. Like I don't like opening up to people, and I realize that a lot of my friends do that as well. And I feel like that's one of the biggest obstacles in people's friendships, in, like mine, because it's like where do you meet each other?
Yeah.
You know?
You mean emotionally?
Yeah.
Or like, I think that's boundaries that, like, if it's really, like, affecting you, you should say. And I think if they can't respect your honesty, then that kind of just says how they feel, not only as, like, a person, but, like, as your friend, or how they, friend. And that's just being blunt, because if someone's not going to respect you, and, like, if something bothers you, then, like, you should say, and, we've had this before, like, I think recently, where you were bothered by something, and I wanted you to tell me, but you kind of just, I think you resolved it within yourself. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so I don't know if you want to cut this off.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like, like, that's an example of when you were honest, and, like, I respected that, and, that's something I will keep in mind, and, like, in the future, because I respect your feelings. Like, yeah, we always joke around and, like, we're mean to each other. But, I mean, we know our, like, when to stop. I mean, and I feel like because I know you well, there's things that I won't joke about, because that's just because I know you and I know what's right and what's not right to joke about. But if you tell them and then they don't respect it, that just kind of shows how they are as friends, and that they they don't respect you if they don't want to see it. Maybe it'll take them longer to understand, but that's fine. But if they just flat out don't want to try to understand, because to me, friendships isn't about, oh, well, this is right and this is wrong. I feel it's friendships are more of how the other person feels. Sometimes there isn't logic, but really it doesn't matter.
No.
That's why, yeah. So in friendships, I'm not saying logic doesn't matter, but I'm saying in the sense of friendships, feelings matter more. A feeling should be a priority, because, I mean, you don't want your friend, like, who wants their friends to feel bad?
I know,
like,
right?
That's literally bullying. But yeah, so that's what I think.
I think I was more hurt, not because you guys didn't invite me, well, I guess so in a way, but because it is summer and I am leaving across the country for college. This whole summer I've tried my best to include everyone in like hangouts. I always include people, but it sucks because I know there's people in my friend group that haven't invited me to things, even though I've invited them to things.
Yeah.
Like I see it in Snapchat and like social media. It sucks when you try your best to include everyone, but then you go on social media and you see them hanging out with their group of friends, and you're like, like what?
I think that one's kind of complicated, because at the same time you don't want like when we did the thing and it's not that we didn't invite you, but we said, oh, well, maybe not because of this reason. Because it's like the main reason why we were hanging out was to like catch up with the person we haven't seen in, like, for me it was years since I've seen that person. That's why we were hanging out. So that's why I was like, oh, maybe you don't want to go. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, have you? Because it's like when you go to parties and you don't know anybody, so you just hang out like with a dog.
True.
It does suck, but I don't think they mean it maliciously. Yeah. I mean, have you mentioned it? Or like maybe like nudged at it, like, oh, like, like you send a jokingly like TFTI. You know what I mean? Even jokingly, but like you don't. No. Because maybe you can try that.
Back to the thing of like the hangout you guys were planning was that, and he said that like you didn't even know her, and that's why I was a little more hurt, because it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't know her, but like you didn't really.
Oh, I kind of did. Actually.
You talked to her?
Yeah. I mean, it's enough that like I talked to her enough where like I want to see how she's doing and stuff like I would like to see her again because she's a really cool person. Like I wouldn't say I was like super good friends, but at the same time she's someone I would like to see again. So yeah, I'm not that close to her, but you know, but I don't think you knew her at all. It wasn't to maliciously leave you out, but I didn't want you to be like us talking to her and you're just like there, because that's why would I invite you to somewhere, no offense, where I wouldn't talk to you. Not that I don't want to, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, of course I'd talk to you. I wouldn't ignore you.
And like, I think one of like something I feared about actually going was that I was just gonna sit there and you guys were just gonna talk to her, and like not me. Not to make it like about me at all, because it is about getting back to know her and stuff. But I just felt like I was just gonna be there quiet and like.
Yeah, and I didn't want that to happen. You know what I mean? And her too.
So what makes me like scared is people asking me, oh, were you talking about me specifically? Well, like, did you talk about me? And just overall acting kind of distance because of it. Like, what do you think I should do for that?
I think you should try to make them understand why you're doing this and where you're coming from. Because this is definitely not a malicious video, or the reasoning behind it isn't malicious. I really do, like, you should express to them that it's really been bothering you for years. It's really been years, and that's crazy to think about how long you've had it. You should try to make them understand that you've had this weight on your shoulders for so long, and it's really not only for you, but this is like kind of a creative outlet and also a positive one, I think. Because really, this video is for you. And it's definitely not selfish. It's just honestly self-care. You know, it's really being honest with yourself. And to me as well. So, I mean, I kind of knew but like, you know, there's stuff that I didn't know that I'm glad you said today. And I think you should try to, you should make them understand, or like explain your reasoning, that it's really for you. And you really want to get back to yourself. Like, you want to kind of live honestly, because I feel like that's a kind of like the theme. It's really about being honest with yourself and living honestly, because I feel like that's really the only thing that's held you back all these years. And knowing you when you were at like I said, like not your prime, but when you were unapologetically you, and that was great. Like in 8th grade, you used to make videos and vines. Those were so good. Like I never told you because it was kind of embarrassing. I was like kind of like, ew, Kevin. Like, that was my thing. Because we weren't that close then. So, you know, I really enjoyed your videos. They always made me. And even then, like, you were so. I mean, you're still funny because you're hilarious. But, like, your videos really just. They embodied Kevin, like you. And I feel like that's why I was really excited when you told me you were doing this. And the reasoning, like, what you were doing. Because when you made videos back then, they were just so you, and like, you know, embodied your humor, also just, you know, your personality. It did it it projected so well onto videos. And you know, when you would make some, you know, even like after that time, they were low-key, they weren't as good.
Like, I was holding back.
You were definitely holding back. I really saw it. But you know, I thought it was a change that you should have done yourself, because it's really like a journey that you should do, or that you are doing, you know, doing this video. That's why I was so excited. It, like, you know, like when you told me on the phone, I was like screaming. Literally. But you know, that's why I was so excited. Like, now we get to see where you came from. It's not the old Kevin. I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is like the old Kevin videos. Like, no, this is like real Kevin, you know. And I can't wait. And that's why I'm so excited for this.
I mean, this video is definitely towards my friends, and this video is nothing to do with anyone at all specifically. This is all in general, and this video is more for me to, I guess, open up, and I feel like I need to, I guess, rebrand in a way and be myself again. And I'm not saying that I'm literally gonna have this drastic change.
It was definitely gradual.
True. Like, I'm not going to be completely different, like a different person, but I'm definitely going to focus on being a better person, a better friend, and just being authentically myself. I'm really happy like how much we talked about on this topic, because now I feel like I can be more open with people, you know, and I can be more of myself. Like I just feel like a lot of the way I was carrying just fell off.
I'm glad that it lifts a weight off your shoulders, and now you can really live how you want to, and still and finally continue to really grow into who you will be as a person. Especially changing into a new environment. Because you're moving for a new college in a new state. So that's going to be really exciting to see. You don't have to live by, I guess, like, in fear anymore, I guess, of who you are because of the people around you. Because the real, could be, you acting real will attract the right people and keep good people around you. And I feel like that's kind of why I haven't had problems with friendships. Like I think in high school in general, because I think only freshman year was like when I held back, but that's why I joined and did so many new things, and I feel like that really like kind of pushed me to really express myself, because being myself really helped me find people who I like to be friends with, and even acquaintances. Like, there's people who I can talk to and it won't be like awkward or anything. Like if we haven't talked in a lifetime, I can like check up on them and stuff like that. So to sum it up, being authentically me and not hiding who I was, definitely made me have the great friends I have now. And so I'm excited to see you with the same success. Sorry if that sounds weird, but yeah.
And I think what's like weird about that is you saying that. Like, if someone were to see that, like, if I were to do that, people would call you fake for that. But, like, you're being real. You're cutting negative people out of your life and, like, respecting yourself.
Yeah. I hate how simple it sounds, but, obviously it takes time. But, like, if there's people I don't vibe with, then I won't make an effort with them. It's just that simple. And, again, self-respect for yourself. So I don't care if anyone calls me fake, because I'm not.
Honestly, I need to start doing that. Okay, so I believe that's the end of the video. Yeah, I'm excited for this channel and for the future. And I think that's it. Yeah.
Yay. And